You know, it really didn't have to be perfect, it just had to start. And I was so blown away when the first planner came in and I held it in my hands and I was like, I know I could use this planner. And I remember thinking, I don't know if anyone's gonna ever like this. I know that maybe someone wants it different. And I think in that is also trying to help other people live their fullest life. And I think that every person in this room is willing to help other people. So going back to Oprah's quote, you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. Like, I hope that you ask for what you want, because you might get some no's, but eventually you're gonna get a yes. The staircase appears.
Yeah.
And it's not even a staircase, it's like a whole space that you can go anywhere you want. So I just am really grateful to have so many people in this space also that are intentionally living their lives. I think that's the end goal.
Hello. So it's my last day in San Diego. I'm about to head out. It's 9:30-ish on Monday morning. I'm just enjoying my last hour or so. Watching Friends. I just watched the episode with the cheesecake. I'm staying at the Palihotel in the Gaslamp district and it's very nice. It's very cute. I will show it to you on my way out because it's like kind of messy right now. But it's like the hotel room is kind of small, and that's not a complaint, just a statement, but I feel like I can hear things like pipes and like water noise, and I haven't heard any like talking. I don't think I've heard another word uttered from any other guest like while I'm in my room, and I don't know if it's because the soundproofing is better for voices or if my neighbors are just incredibly quiet, but it makes me feel like I'm in like a library or something, so I feel like I have to keep my voice down. It was nice though. I feel like because the rooms, at least where I am, I think they do have some bigger rooms available, but because it's kind of small, it's like single people, couples, maybe quiet adults. So it was like a pretty peaceful stay. I slept really well. Last night I did not sleep as well, but the first night I think I slept like 9 or 10 hours. Last night though, the reason I didn't sleep well is because I had a paper due and I completely messed up the due date. I thought it was due last night. Because I'm taking this political science class and it's online and everything has been due on Sunday night at 10 p.m. And I started my paper on Friday. I started researching it a couple days before. I started writing it on Friday, and I set time aside after my event yesterday to finish it. And then I got back to my hotel and I realized I forgot my wireless mouse, and I brought my old laptop, which the trackpad doesn't work. So without the mouse, I can't, it's useless. And then in my head, I told myself that I had plenty of time. I had a whole nother day. So I was gonna go buy a mouse on Sunday. So I went to Target, I bought a mouse, everything was fine. And then it just dawned on me that the papers, even though the quizzes and other assignments are due on Sunday, the papers are due a day early on Saturday because we have discussion replies to them on Sunday. So my paper was a day late, and I emailed my instructor to explain what happened, and I was like, this is not really, I'm not a late person, but here's what happened. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that I started therapy in January, and one of the reasons I started therapy is because of my business pivot, and there were some things that I kind of anticipated that were going to be challenging for me. And as I got into talking about like what those things are, I started to realize that I probably have ADHD, or at least I check a lot of the boxes for it. I haven't done like a formal assessment yet, but I'm like probably going to within the next few months. But yeah, I check a lot of boxes for ADHD. And one of the challenges that I have is like changes to my routine can really kind of throw me off. And like I don't know, like I think one of the reasons I thought I couldn't possibly have ADHD is because I think my attention to detail and my memory is usually pretty good. I'm pretty reliable and consistent, keeping appointments and things like that, but I realized that changes do kind of throw me off. And so it might not be that I'm like particularly good at those things, but I have like systems in place that like make me good at them, if that makes sense. Like I won't make an appointment if there's a chance I'm going to reschedule, because I hate rescheduling. So I don't know, that might be a really specific example, but a few weeks ago I did have to reschedule an appointment by one day, and then I got the time wrong. So that's something that I struggle with. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I went to Target. I'm gonna show you a clip. I took a clip of the Target that I went to, which might seem silly, but it was a weird looking Target. I think it's in South something, San Diego. I also picked up some au brew lattes, which like this hotel has a cute little mini fridge that's like super stocked with some interesting things. And they have these, I think it's pronounced Coulomb, oat brew, the little lattes in the cans. And I drank 2 of them yesterday. And I was like, I'm gonna get some more for today. They're like $7 in the mini bar. I'm like, I'm gonna go pick some up for the next day. And then I realized they come in a 4-pack. So I could just restock the ones that I drank yesterday too. And it's like it never happened. I'm also like definitely a rule follower, so it feels like I'm cheating the system a little bit, but I'm a little bit proud of myself. So a recap of the weekend so far. On Saturday, I got here on Saturday morning. I went straight to the Passion Planner 10-year anniversary event, which is the reason I came here this weekend specifically. They announced it a few months ago and I got a ticket, not being completely sure if I'd be able to go, and it turns out I am obviously here. So that was really fun. That was a really great experience. I'm glad that I decided to do it. I was kind of on the fence about it, but it was really great. I got to meet Angel, the CEO, who like was just kind of mingling around. I think it was like an 8 or 10 hour long event. It was like from 10 to 5 or 6. And she was just kind of like mingling around, meeting people. There were speakers and panels and things like that. And I don't know, I've always just been kind of inspired by her as a business owner. She started her business when she was pretty young, in her early 20s, I think, Passion Planner. And as a business owner, I've been using Passion Planner. I thought I had been using it for the full 10 years, but it's actually been more like 7, I think. I've used the weekly version, Monday start, for quite a while. I think since like maybe 2016 or 17. And then just in the past year or so, I also started using the the daily ones, which I always kind of like the daily ones in theory, but I wasn't sure like how they would apply to me. But I found that in this like pivot era, it's been really helpful for me to kind of build new habits. And really take a look at like how I'm spending my time each day, to make to-do lists specific to each day, and then have a lot of extra space to write. Like I've also found that it's helpful for me to kind of write out my intentions for the day in the morning and then go back to like my journal at night and kind of look at how things went, and if there's anything that like didn't get done or didn't go as planned or something that went really well. It's nice to just like write it out, because otherwise it just like is in my head. I also feel like that process has made me a little more optimistic, because I think we tend to dwell on things that like go wrong, but actually writing out things that like went well and things that I accomplished, it's helpful to like put it down on paper. Sometimes it's a little bit surprising to write it down because I forget the good stuff that happened. So that's it for the Passion Planner event. And then I went to Balboa Park yesterday. I went to the Museum of Us, which I have only been to, I think, one time that I can remember in like 2017. I really liked their Living with Animals exhibit. It was their last time I was here and I wanted to see it again. And that kind of stuff, it's interesting to me, I think, because at the time I wasn't a trainer. I wasn't even thinking about becoming a dog trainer, but I kind of think that exhibit might have been something that kind of inspired me to change my major from biology to behavioral science, because I thought instead of like the biological side of animals, I was thinking more along the lines of like how animals fit into society and animal-human relationships. That was what I was thinking when I changed my major to behavioral science. And I thought I would be working more on the human side of things, kind of like how the value of animals is determined in society and why we value certain animals more than others and how we treat them differently. But yeah, I think that going to that exhibit was kind of something that got me thinking along those lines more. I mean, obviously I was like an animal activist and vegan for many years before that, but as far as like going into that like research or career-wise. So anyway, I did that. I also went to the Timken Museum, which was free. I actually, at the Museum of Us, I asked them for their recommendation of another museum nearby that I could like walk to check out at Balboa Park. I know there's a lot of great museums there and I kind of regret not spending more time there and like checking more things out. but the Timken Museum is free. It's an art museum, and I'm glad that I went there because I've been wanting to go to an art museum. I'm not like an art museum kind of person, but I've been wanting to go. So that was really nice. I'm glad I went there. My other option that I wanted to go to was the Comic-Con Museum, which is kind of a newer museum. I think it opened in 2020. It's also kind of a smaller one. And the reason I didn't go, I think there like wasn't anything specific. There was a Stan Lee exhibit that looked cool, but there wasn't anything specific that I wanted to go see besides that. So I was like, also I had to get back home and write my paper. Also I had to eat dinner because I hadn't eaten lunch that day yesterday. So speaking of dinner, I went to Kindred, which is great. Last time I was here, I went to Kindred also. And that was like one of the, I had like 3 things must eat things while I'm here. The first one was Donna Jean, which I got delivered pizza on Friday night, Saturday night. I'm like very confused about what day it is. Saturday night I got Donna Jean delivered a pizza called the Widow. It has like a bunch of garlic, black garlic. I don't even remember what else was on there, but it was delicious. It was probably the best pizza I've ever had. It's kind of pricey, but it was like, I think it was worth it. It was great. Yesterday though, I went to Kindred. I got a couple of like cold brew drinks, and then for dinner I had the Warlock bowl, which is interesting. That's another thing that I feel like I don't remember what all was in that bowl. I had the previous version, which I think was called the Wizard, back the last time I was here, and I don't remember what was in that either, but I just remember it was good. It's very like herby and like vegetables and stuff. The new version I know has like impossible meat. Also while I was at Kindred, I read my book. I'm reading The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and I really like it. I brought like 5 books with me on this trip, and I'm here for 2 nights, and I've so far have read part of 3 of them, so I would say it's worth it. What else do I want to tell you before I go? Is that it? I feel like I filmed a bunch of random stuff and I don't remember exactly what. So if there's anything else, I will do a voiceover and tell you about it. But today, I'm gonna check out in probably the next hour or so, and I'm gonna go to the San Diego Safari Park. And I know what you might be thinking. If you are also vegan, you might be thinking, hey Lisa, I thought you wouldn't go to a zoo. And you know what? I thought I wouldn't either. And for a long time, I felt that way, that I like was kind of really against zoos and wildlife and captivity. But there's a few things that kind of changed my mind in some situations. One is, you know, climate change and habitat destruction and losing endangered species. I think that some zoos that are very like research focused play a valuable role in protecting animals. I do think it's very important though that zoos put the welfare of the animals above the entertainment of the guests, like prioritize it above the humans. And I think from what I've heard, San Diego Safari Park does a good job of that. I think the San Diego Zoo is like up there also. I've heard good things about Disney's Animal Kingdom, although I heard they got kind of a rough start when they first opened, but I think now they're like kind of at the top. I kind of wish like more zoos took more of like a sanctuary approach to things. Like that was another thing that kind of changed my mind, was going to Elephant Nature Park in Thailand, which is a sanctuary, but they also, you know, they have tourists who come in as either volunteers or as guests, and they interact with the elephants. And you know, having guests is what kind of pays their bills and allows them to keep rescuing more elephants. Speaking of rescue, another thing that changed my mind a little bit is being involved in animal wildlife like rehab. I realized that like although the goal of wildlife rehab is to like rehabilitate and release animals, sometimes there are animals who are, you know, recovered from whatever injury or illness that they had, but maybe like after they recover, they're left with a long-term disability that makes it hard for them to survive in the wild. So really the only option is to send them to a sanctuary or a zoo setting where they would be safe. Like for example, if like I heard at like the Marine Mammal Care Center in San Pedro, there was one of the recent times that I was there, like a sea lion who was I think blind in one eye and was having trouble hunting, and they sent him to SeaWorld, which SeaWorld isn't one of the places that I would patronize, but you get the idea. Like some of these animals do actually need a place to go. At Elephant Nature Park too, a lot of the elephants do have some kind of injury as well. Like some of them have stepped on landmines, or I know there were a couple of also like blind elephants there. So there are animals who need assistance. Anyway, I didn't realize like how in-depth this conversation was gonna go in terms of wildlife, but there you go. I thought I was just gonna be talking about San Diego, but I felt like I needed to explain my thoughts on going to the safari park. It's something that people do have asked me about though too, especially like when I was into my Disney phase. People asked me how I felt about Animal Kingdom, and I think that kind of answers that question. So anyway, I'm going to check out soon. I'm gonna get ready to check out. My room is messy, so I'm gonna clean it up. I mean, it's not like I trashed the room or anything. It's just a small room and I have a lot of stuff. But overall, it was a nice day. It was a cute stay. This hotel looks like a Wes Anderson movie. It's got like a French theme. It's a very old historic building. They also have like 100-plus-year-old elevators that are like the kind where you like close the grate thingy, and which, by the way, there's like no graceful way to get in and out of those elevators, especially if you're holding bags and things. Like if you can do it in a slick way, like if you know how to look cool going in and out of those elevators, let me know. Show me a video, show me proof, because I don't think it can be done. I think I kind of imagined that it would be a cool thing, but the reality was very different. So yeah, if you're looking for a place to stay in like downtown Gaslamp area of San Diego, I would recommend it. It's very cute. Like I said, small. So if you are planning to spend a lot of time in your hotel room and you're more than one person, maybe go for a larger room. But I think that's also why the room was kind of on the more affordable side, because it is small, but it's very styled, cute, clean, which is perfect for me. So I'm glad I stayed here. I think I made the right choice. So I'm gonna go clean up. I will show you the room once it's presentable, and then I'm gonna head out to the safari park and I'll show you some stuff there. So I was totally expecting that this, behind this curtain, was a big, beautiful window, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. It's just the wall. I was definitely planning to open that up while I was in here working the other day, but this is the only window. Okay, I'm here. I've arrived. I'm at the safari park. I got free parking. I was told today is my lucky day, so we'll see if that pans out. Also, as I was driving up here, I saw one of those like hot air balloon things, you know, that like it's like attached to strings or something and it goes up in the air really high. And I told myself, if that is where I'm going, if that's inside the park, I'm gonna get in it. And it turns out that it is. It's like right over here. I'll show it to you. And I was a little more confident about it when I didn't know if it was where I was going. Now that I'm sure that it is, I don't know. It might happen, it might not. But I also think that I want to do a tour today. I almost pre-booked a tour, but I decided I would see what it's like when I get here and see which one I want to do. But I think I want to go in one of those safari cart truck things. So, okay, let's go see some animals. Also, my favorite animal at the safari park that I know of is the okapi. And that was the one that I was most excited to see last time I was here, which was probably 20 years ago. And I know they have a baby okapi. I wonder if that's related to the original okapi that I saw last time. Maybe it's like his grandchild or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's go.
Let's see that little yawn. It is about 75 miles per hour at top speeds. 30 miles per hour is actually going to be the top speed of some of our lions.
Okay.
So that's a really big difference between fun. So it looks like they just put out this browse for them. When we come back through here in a little bit, we'll see how much of it is left. So these are the South African giraffes. Fun fact about our giraffes is that each one has a pattern that's unique like a fingerprint. So no two giraffes have the same spots. Little overlook right here, we're going to get a chance to see our beautiful gnu, or the wildebeest, which manage one of the largest migrations in the world. And then up on the right at this feeder is one of our lone roan antelope, looking beautiful with that thread mask. Little yawn. That's a
caracals will get. So you are looking at the bird hunting specialist out in Africa. So you'll see right now that Michelle is going to be working with Mahani here and doing some lure jumping. So caracals are known to jump at least 10 to 12 feet tall. So I'm about 5'5", that's like double my height. So you'll see right now Michelle kind of using that lure toy. He's like, what's this? That's a new one.
Trying something new today. We'll see what he thinks of it.
There you go. So using this lure toy, we're trying to mimic that behavior that he would do out in Africa. Oh, that was a good one right there.
Hi.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, caracals can jump 10 to 12 feet tall into the air. A ground beef diet, it's kind of like the hamburger patties that we would eat, except for theirs have all the yummy stuff. So the guts, the bones, the hair, all items of that prey blended in together in a blender, and it is fed to our obligate carnivores here.
Our incredible owl species, Mozart here, is 5 years old. But one of my favorite games to play with guests is guess how many pounds the owl weighs.
I was just going to ask that.
Any guesses?
15.
15. Solid guess. Any other guesses?
Yeah, I was gonna go 15. I'll go 12.
12. What do you think?
Like 8.
8. Airborne most of the time. So they want to be very lightweight. Ways that they help out with that is having a lot of feathers. Mostly what you're seeing is feathers on him. That makes up a lot of that body volume, and that gives him lift as well as keeps him insulated and warm. You can imagine.
They're comfortable in studying their reproductive health. These ladies over here are actually trained to stand still while receiving ultrasounds. And through that, we can actually study their follicle growth of that second horn. So I was here earlier today, and he was standing still for some veterinary care. Just like the animals that we were talking about, they are trained to participate in that kind of care. So they removed it, and she healed up just fine. But we think that she was probably a survivor of an attempted collision.
Yeah, it's wild.
Absolutely. On our social media, she is pretty cute here. She actually had an issue standing up when she was first born, and so our care team had to build her braces. They colored them to look like giraffe markings so that she wasn't missing out on any of that development. And she learned how to stand here in her first couple months of life.
Do you see this guy just munching on grass in front of you right there?
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, he's like, this is a buffet right here, my height.
And since we are very close to him, notice this beautiful eyelashes. I think this one is actually Khaleesi with her dark coat. We don't have any males in here, but she is one of our tallest females.
Hi, pretty girl.
She is, of course, named after Khaleesi from Game of Thrones. Most of our giraffes do have like traditional Swahili names, but some are exceptions named by donors, like our girl right here. Do you guys know why the giraffe tongue has that color?
No.
It's actually because they have melanin in it, which is a pigment that keeps them from getting sunburned on their tongue, since they're foraging up high all day long. I'm sorry, girl, we can't help you out. We cannot help you reach.
What's that tree bad?
With a mouthful of food and she's still trying to get more.
Right.
Oh, look at the little babies. Little babies.
So gentle. She's giving us a nice look at how they do not have any top incisors. That top part of their mouth doesn't have any teeth, just molars in the back. Rhinos are actually the exact same thing. They don't even have bottom teeth in the front either. So it's funny when you watch the care specialists with the rhinos, they will shove their hands pretty far back to give them a
Bye, little guys.
bye guys.
You can bridges. These guys have this really cool adaptation where they can hear infrasonic sound, so sounds lower than we can hear. And mom and baby will communicate with each other. Oh, there's mom.
Up the top?
There, yeah. I didn't even see her. So they can communicate from miles away using those really low tones. It's kind of like passing notes. Teachers presenting, so they can communicate in those low tones without predators here. There's a cycle place at the front of the front. So if you guys are looking for a place, I would reach out to conservation organizations in your area.
Interesting. Oh, that's cool. He's got a very cute butt with a little zebra.
Some good genetic health. Now this guy that lost one of his antlers, he's got weak genes and the girls don't want that. They want the one that has those nice 2 antlers. For hands, if you see the miniature giraffe out there. Okay, it's not really a miniature giraffe, that is a 4-week-old baby. Now where's its mom? A little weird, right? It's 4 weeks old, mom should be closer than that. Well, the reason why mom is not that close is because mom can see the baby. Giraffes are the tallest land mammals in the world, and they stand at roughly about 16 to 18 feet in height on average, and that's equivalent to about a 2-story home. Now, from where the giraffe are standing, they can actually see 2 miles away. Eventually, that means 6 feet as well as those legs. And those are 2 adaptations to help the giraffe to be able to reach the trees. Now, this is mom. I'm going to go get her baby just in case. Those antelope are not bothered by the giraffe because they know the giraffe is going to help them with survival. Because giraffe are the watchtowers. So they're looking out for other giraffes as well as potential danger in the environment. So predators will see him, but the ladies also find him more attractive. And I do like to refer to him as the definition of Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome because he is dark and he's handsome, but he's also the tallest giraffe in the park at a whopping 19 feet in height. Now, but our Grammy zebras, the dazzle is going to consist of female and the offspring, and they are going to stand together so that their striping will blur together when the predators like lions and hyenas look into the dazzle. Now the blurring of the lines is going to safety in number as well as keeping them healthy because the striping is going to prevent insect bites from insects like the tsetse fly. And if the tsetse fly cannot bite you, they cannot spread tsetse fever. So zebras are immune. Now on this left-hand side, we have our roan antelope boys. And in the past 2 weeks, they have been doing a lot of sparring. And sparring is basically a horn wrestling match. Now often, the younger boy, he does run into this corner closer to the bridge so he can get away from these boys. He's the youngest little guy out there. If I could pull up just a little bit more. He really does not want to fight with him. He's being very submissive right now. Oh, stop making me sad. Now these boys can be sparring for dominance, but also they might be sparring to practice or show off because you never know when a female might be present. But what they don't know is that the female are on the other side of the hill over in East Africa, so they can't see them. But, you know, just in case, you want to make sure that you are impressive. Boy antelopes, they spend a lot of time with the Cape buffalo. They have the black coats. And it's really interesting to see these little boys spending time with the Cape buffalo because cruelty humans, because they are the second most likely animal to attack us. And the first most likely that is going to be a hippopotamus.
Hippo.
But this large group, possibly because they're female, not so sure about that, but this large group of sweet buffalo allow these boys to come over.